How's it going, lovely people? Hope you're well and welcome back to another That Liverpool show. Hope you're well. Obviously, you've seen I've got a new hairstyle. Rams's got the long hair. Bizzo's beard's connecting, the only one that's able to make that boast on this show at the moment. We will have a couple more people joining us, but for now, we're going to kick it off. We've got some really good topics to discuss today. Well, depending on, let's say they're meaty subjects. You wouldn't necessarily say they're good subjects for Liverpool. But the first one I'm going to touch on, guys, is FIFA Fair Play. Now, let's be honest. Since it's come into fruition, it's been a horror show. Let's be honest. Like, teams have been getting away with stuff left, right, and centre. And the fact that they're saying they may scrap it now, when it looks like Barcelona, Real Madrid are in the mud, kind of speaks to just, I don't want to use the C word, but I'm going to use the C word. It looks corrupt from UEFA, doesn't it? Let's be honest. It don't look good. However, one of the things as a Liverpool fan is we have to consider the impact on our club if FIFA Fair Play is scrapped. Now, we know it hasn't been enforced very well, but it's still there. It's a rule, isn't it? And when FSG came in, it was one of the factors that led them to actually want to buy the club. Not just the fact that they were getting it cheap, but also FIFA Fair Play allows them to implement their Moneyball tactics and their structure of how they want to do transfers and potentially build a winning side, which is what they have done with Klopp and Edwards. However, your teams of Man United, Chelsea, Manchester City, PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, dare I even say some of the Italian outfits who haven't been able to spend the money like they had in recent years, like your Inter Milan, your AC Milan, your Juventus, they now potentially could go and do that. And I ask you guys, so Biz, I'll start with you. Do you think if it officially gets scrapped, are we in trouble potentially?
Yeah, I think we are, because obviously it's well documented we're not a club that splashes money out anyway, and we don't try and get around financial fair play rules. We're well within them. It's quite clear from the transfers we've made that we don't really break the bank in terms of wages or transfer fees, anything like that. Whereas other teams do push the boundaries. City push the boundaries. PSG definitely do. And if it does end up getting scrapped, then it brings a host of clubs back into the fray, which will potentially ruin transfer targets. It'll change league dimensions. I mean, remember when before it came in, Monaco were an outfit who would spend millions and millions of pounds and get away with not having to pay tax and things like that on players' wages. So players wanted to go and play for them. So, I mean, there's potential there for things like that to happen again. And as you say, but with Real Madrid and Barcelona struggling as much as they are, it did feel like a bit of power was coming back to the likes of us, where we did have a bit of being able to play our hand in the transfer market a bit stronger, especially with what's happened with coronavirus and how it's affected the game. It really gave us an advantage going into the transfer market with the business that we've done, but it could be quite damaging, to be honest. I mean, there's certain English teams that have got a lot of money that could potentially start spending willy-nilly now once they're given the green light again. So yeah, it's I don't think it benefits us at all, really, in my personal opinion, because I don't think we'll change our business model, whereas I think other teams will. So it'll affect us more than it'll benefit us, definitely.
Rams, do you agree with what Bizzo said there?
Yeah, absolutely. Just gonna touch on how we were doing so well in terms of financially. We got rid of our debts. FSG got rid of the debts. We started making a lot of money. We're making a lot of profit. There were those plans of expanding the stadium, increasing our revenue. We're starting to get our revenue back up to around about top 5, top 4 in the Premier League, even the world as well. And things were looking up for us. And there was a feeling around the club that if everything goes well and the way it was going, we were going to be up there with Manchester United in terms of how big we are as a football team. Obviously, with the LeBron James, the stuff with Nike, it was good. It was looking all good. But now FFP, if they're looking to cancel FFP, one of the main things that got us to that position was our success on the pitch. And now that FFP is out going to be out of play, the likes of Chelsea and City just going to be spending like circa 300-400 million pounds per transfer window, which
And United,
we're not going to be doing that if you're including the wages as well. And plus, one of the things that they'll offer is the wages. The wages are going to be so much higher than ours, and they can afford it, whilst we won't be willing to pay the wages that they're willing to pay. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it makes for grim reading. Welcome to the show, Conroy.
All right, guys, how are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, not too bad. Started off on a bit of a somber note. I'm not going to lie, Conroy. And the first question I'm going to ask you is about the subject. It's about FIFA fair play and the fact that UEFA are looking to scrap it. So I just asked Bizzo and Rams if we believe that this is going to sort of hinder Liverpool going forward, potentially with our business model and the likes of your Manchester United, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, PSG, City, Chelsea. If are they going to have a stronghold on their leagues again and the spending power and control the transfer market, in your opinion?
Well, see, this time I get mixed up with my dates. It might have been last year, or there's something. Oh, it was City with the Champions League thing. Remember a couple of months ago. See, when that decision was made that way, for me that was a kind of final nail in the coffin, because if nothing got done about that, then I understand this is more official, and I get that. But let's be honest, when that happened, I kind of thought that was the writing was on the wall for it. See, you mentioned some of the teams like Inter and AC. Fair point, but I think Inter are in quite a bad way then now, aren't they? Because with their owners, but in general, teams like that, it's not just with them. There might be other teams who will look at that model of what Inter, AC have done and look to buy teams and just try and pay to get to the top. But I think Man City worry me more than anybody, because Man City are actually quite smart with their money as well. Not all the time, don't get me wrong, they've made mistakes, but it's not like they sign a Mendy, for example, and it doesn't work out. They'll just go and sign another left back the following year. Like, it's not going to stop. So I'm a bit worried, to be honest, because it's not like Liverpool are going to take advantage of those strict restrictions being lifted, are they? We're going to have the same model. You could even argue that teams like, we'll laugh at this, but even like at Everton, for example, and stuff like that, they're backed far more than us, so they could.
Aston Villa as well.
Villa. I know there's been talk about Newcastle as well. I'm not saying it'll happen. There's actually a mad thing about a conspiracy about that as well, that they're maybe trying to get relegated because they can get taken over easier in the Championship. I wouldn't look into it too much, but I know. It was a late night reading. To be fair, you down the rabbit hole.
I mean, you could argue it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is easier. It's a lot easier.
Maybe they haven't. Maybe they
are.
Well,
that was one of the reasons they said, "How is he not sacked yet?" And then someone said, "Well, maybe they want to get relegated because
you only need a playoff win, don't you? And then you're in profit again for the year."
Yeah, and also it's much easier for teams to get back. To get taken over in the Championship, there's less restrictions, if you know what I mean. But yeah, on that, Cal, I'm worried, to be honest, mate. I thought they were going to try and design something that was a case of, right, FIFA fair play didn't work. I was hoping they'd maybe try and come up with something a bit better, in the sense of it's more a cap instead of a look at each case individually. But since the City one, they didn't get a ban. It went from 2 years to nothing. I was like, nah, for me, the writing was on the wall then, and this has just confirmed it, to be honest, mate.
Finn, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Yeah, good.
Good. So yeah, we've just been talking about the FIFA fair play, or should I say the lack of FIFA fair play. With FSG's model, do you think that it will be a hindrance to us going forward, or do you think they may even change their model if FIFA fair play is officially scrapped?
I don't know. It's FSG, innit? You don't know what you get with them. As you just went through, then there's so many clubs that are different, and I feel like FSG are so like they're a bit like Klopp, a bit stubborn, and I feel like they will keep the same plan no matter what happens. I just feel like that's what they're like, and they have been the past couple of years, and especially in January we've seen it with some transfers as well. They were very late and very stubborn on who they wanted to sign and all that. So for me, I think they'll keep the same, and I wouldn't mind to see a change, but I just can't see it happening with FSG because I just know what they're like.
Fair enough. Safe. I'm going to sort of ask you a slightly different question. If FFP is scrapped and let's say Chelsea, Man City, Man United, they can go on spending sprees, which is something we not necessarily we can't do, but we choose not to do. Do you think we can actually maintain momentum with those clubs?
No, I think it's going to become a whole thing about literally what team's got the biggest money. And to be honest, it's just going to attract a lot of big buyers into the Premier League. And I think that's the intention of it anyways. Because given, for example, Sheikh Mansour all the freedom in the world to do what he wants, it almost becomes like an ego fight between him and his boys in Arabia, basically. And you're going to see Russians, Chinese just using English football to build their asset value and stuff like that, and it will destroy the game massively. Like we saw the impact it had, and for example, if you look at when Chelsea were probably the first team to come along with that sort of money sort of thing, and you saw how it changed almost the culture of the Premier League and this whole fight of trying to become a fantastic team through developing a foundation, through making like smart transfers. It just became about, sorry, I've got more money than you, so you can do what you want, but I'm just going to throw money at the problem. And you can see it's not a new thing and it's not an old thing either. It's like you can see it with Leipzig as well in Germany, the sort of reception they got because you saw it was destroying their culture of football and it's destroying the game. And if it does come to that, obviously I'm going to come with a bit of bias as a Liverpool fan because I know we don't have that sort of spending behind us. But I don't think I'll appreciate what we've done, like what we achieved with the Champions League. And in fact, even Tottenham getting to that finals with the money they spent is an incredible achievement. But City getting to the final is just breaking the curse. That's literally it. But because even if they won it, all right, cool, they won it for the first time in their history and everything, but they just threw a hell of a lot of money at it. And this is going to be a complete different thing. And I think what we've done so far is just something that you can appreciate so much. And if we do scrap FFP, which I think is pretty much already like done, if I'm not wrong, then it's just going to it's just going to be the teams at the top have all the money in the world and teams at the bottom like Villa probably a bit more established, but smaller teams like Southampton, Crystal Palace, Watford, whatever it is, they're just never going to have a chance to compete until someone comes along with a lot of money, buys them and decides, oh, I'm going to buy Aguero, Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo and bring them over to like Brighton or something and become the best team in England. Literally, it's literally what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, yeah, when I think the value, Sheikh Mansour's like asset value or net worth or something is like over like ridiculous amount of money. I can't remember what it is, but literally nothing's stopping him. And it's literally not even a dent in his wallet to go and buy Ronaldo for him. So, yeah, it's just going to destroy the game massively.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of points that we've all raised there. I think Conroy was right when I think we should give City a bit more credit because even though they've got the money, they do actually spend smart. They don't just go out and just shotgun business for the sake of it and scattergun. Like Chelsea could be accused of doing that last summer. They bought players they didn't necessarily need, but they wanted. However, I mean, obviously there's this talk of LeBron James and Redbird Capital and stuff. Do you think maybe FSG are preparing for this? Do you think this will potentially make FSG look at wanting to sell the club? But also another thing I want to say, if we were Manchester City, or let's say we had Manchester City's type of budget, would we be sitting here moaning right now? Because the way I sort of want to compare it, and again, this is me just playing devil's advocate. Let's say, for example, I won the lottery. I'm not still going to be living the same lifestyle as I am now. Now, granted, I'm not going to become some sort of like crazy guy, but I'm not going to be living the lifestyle I'm living. I'm just not, am I? I'm not going to. I'm not
so
going to
much, so much apple juice. So much apple juice. Oh my god!
I'm going to want apple juice from the source. I'm not going to want the carton anymore. I'm going to want it from the tree.
A massive fridge freezer. You just open it, just apple juice. Like the catering restaurants that have the big fridges. Just Cal, just one room. Is that a winery? No, it's no wine. It's apple juice. Brilliant.
So I mean, are we not necessarily jealous, but are we sort of up in arms because we don't have that spending power? And is it something we should even be moaning about? So, I mean, Biz, I'll come to you first on that.
Well, it's one of those, isn't it, where obviously we're going to be disgruntled because we know how our club's been run for the past God knows how long. So we're in the same boat as like your Southamptons and your teams like that don't like spending a lot of money and like to be smart with the business. If like you said, with the LeBron James link and stakes being sold, etc. Maybe that might change. Maybe they are getting ready for a sale, and in that case, are we looking at it the wrong way? Like, do we look at it as, well, if they are planning on selling, then we've got a potential of getting someone massive in who's going to have all this money, and then we're going to be able to compete. But it's what Safe was saying. It's about the dignity of the game's affected, in my opinion. I know it's easy to say that when you're not a team that spends hundreds of millions of pounds every transfer window, but it's just slapping a plaster on it. And Man United did it for ages when they were signing Sanchez and Ibrahimovic. They were just temporarily trying to fix something that part of a bigger problem, and eventually you get found out as when you just throw money at stuff. But the league will just turn silly. I think it'll just push us all towards having this European league that keeps getting mooted about, all the top teams in Europe all competing on a weekly basis, and it'll just kill the game around it. I just don't think it's a good thing at all. Even if we did get taken over by owners who had a lot of money, I'd still, like I said, I think the integrity of the game and particularly our club would be affected massively by it, and it would just change the dimensions of how we're run. And I don't think it's an advantageous thing.
Do you not think that's the game, though? Do you not think that's the game? Do you not think this is confirming it? But that's been like for a long time. It's like we say City because City are at the top, but most teams in the Premier League, it's a consortium who've got loads of money. Like, I'd say the only team I look at, and I'm kind of the only owners you can maybe keep a bit of we are Liverpool the way we're ran, and we're not like fully, not saying just oil money, but like, you know, a bit like City is. See, if you look at see Leicester, for example, in the sense of they've got money, right? They're smart with it, but it's not buy to sell. Like, they can sell if they want, but they'll also spend. Like, because I think someone broke it down. They've had a few errors, like Slimani, I think Andre Silva, the Portuguese game, but most of them work out. They're scouting, they put money in the right things, they build a new training ground. It's Drift he keeps mentioning, because that's what Liverpool fans use as an excuse, where Leicester have got a new training ground as well. No one seems to mention that. And it looks amazing, by the way, Leicester's training ground. So, like,
it's beautiful.
It does. But for me, guys, like, I think we're just late to the party. I think this like, there's some things, I know people say sometimes I'm ruthless in that, but like, that's football. It's not going to change. Like, it's like you get more money off TV money than you do off fans. But for some reason, there's an obsession that, ticket sales make money, but you get more money off BT every year. Like, Bournemouth made 400 million, I'm not what they're spending, but just off TV money alone, right? 500 million in 5 years of the Premier League. So it's like, it's not going to change. Like, people keep saying the bubble's going to burst, but I just keep seeing more money get put in and more people. And, you know, people criticise Chelsea, but Roman Abramovich actually wants to win with Chelsea. That's like a billionaire who wants to win. A lot of these teams, it's not even about that. It's just a case of, like, I think Roman Abramovich supports Chelsea, whereas others, it's maybe just a hobby. And I feel like, Safe mentioned Chelsea at the start. I thought back then it was like, yes, it changed it, but Chelsea, it was like when Mourinho came in and stuff, and it was like, yes, it was a change and they were great, but I still felt like, you know, you could get a team together to compete. Now it seems to be that people keep saying Man City are silly with money, and yes, they are at times, but Man City put so much of their money into the community as well. Man City are trying to build a domination for the next 10 years. They're not trying to buy, like you said, that Man U, Bizzo. That's because Man U were terrible at spending money. City aren't terrible at spending money, and this is what worries me. I think they'll just get more dominant, because you could see them signing Messi, Haaland, and we talk about Ings. I could see them signing all three of them. People are like, they're getting it. But they could, though, because they've got the money to do that, and they'll also, if Guardiola wants them, they'll get them. And I feel like there's no change in football. I agree about the dignity, Bizzle, but it's not going to change, mate, because people have been saying this for 10 years.
The City argument is just the fact that they've got the richest owners, in my opinion. They are clever with the money. They don't buy shed loads of players year on year. They buy one big kind of player, like Ruben Diaz. They needed a centre half. They bought him. They only signed Mahrez one season, and that was the only player that they bought. They're not, maybe with the outgoings, they're probably not as clever with that, and they're more likely to let players leave. But it's your teams like Leeds, when Salino took over and pumped all the money into it and caused controversy with buying it, and like you said, having it as a hobby. And if you are in this day and age, and you do have a lot of money, like we all smile about the LeBron James thing, but if LeBron James was in charge of our football club, it wouldn't be like tactically. It's more like I own this much of Liverpool Football Club. This is like my side project. This is like my.
There's money and then there's money. There's difference. I think we need to remember celebrity money is different to like
to oil money
and Abramovich and oil money. Two different things. And
my point was how the clubs are being run, not.
I agree, mate. Anyone could get taken over as well tomorrow if the Newcastle thing goes ahead. And you're right. And it's like we, as Liverpool fans, try to hold on to this. This is our team. It's the way it's ran. But let's be realistic. Is that? I don't even know if that's going to be possible in the next couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah. Finn, I want to. I want to come to you, Finn, because I'm probably the oldest on the stream, so I can remember when Chelsea were really, really bad. Whereas Finn, you've probably seen Chelsea at the peak of their powers pretty much for all your life. Am I sitting here being just an old fogey, just moaning for the sake of it because I want our club to spend big money? And is it a case of you even look at? I think there was a stat that came out recently. Apart from Manchester City, in I think the last 10 years, I think this is might be from Culture Cam. Shout out to Culture Cams if it is from them. Apart from Manchester City in the last decade, any Premier League team that's won the league, the following season, they've not qualified for the Champions League. So it's not just a case of spending money, because Chelsea always spend money. Man United always spend money. City do it the best, but they've also got that money. But am I sitting here just being a grumpy old man, in your opinion? And is this what football is now, but I'm just not really ready to accept it?
I don't know.
I won't take it personally if you say yes.
No.
Just say yes.
No, I just feel like, for me, like, obviously growing up at a good time for Liverpool, I've watched like some decent Liverpool teams and some good teams around as well in the league. I just feel like, for me, I feel like it's wrecking football a little bit, like the tradition of football, the proper English football, where as now there's money and everything to do with football is all about money. That you put certain games on at certain times, and all football clubs are about money. But I feel like, for me, I'd want to see Liverpool maybe spend more and have a bit more money in the club, but I don't want to become like a Chelsea or City. And I know you're praising City that they do the business well, but you've got to realise how many fullbacks have they purchased over the past couple of years, and how many, other than Cancelo, how have they been any good? Are they worth the money? In my opinion, no. I agree with the Diaz and whoever else, the Gundogan they signed a couple of years ago from Dortmund, but they have also had some purchases which have not done well at all. He's struggled with them for years. Cancelo is now a great player, but how long has that took him? 3 years maybe? I don't know how long exact, but I feel like sometimes some of these big clubs just spend ridiculous money on players and you just get hid behind the curtain because they've bought others that are shining in the main line.
There's no consequence, Finn. It's not like spending budget in a supermarket. There's no consequence. It's irrelevant to teams like that. And I don't mean that in a bad way, mate, but it's like...
Yeah, no, I agree. I just mean, like, I know, but I'm just saying that you're probably just praised that the business they've done, but you've got to realise...
United, like, done it for years and done it horribly wrong. I'm just saying City done it a wee bit better. Not great, but just...
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Man United for making it.
Well, Di Maria, right? Di Maria is Falcao. It used to be a Fernandes. It was just like, it was getting ridiculous, but
it's absolutely farcical what they do.
It's a good point, Finn. It's just, I think United made it so bad. They used to just spend money, and it was like it never worked out. I remember the Di Maria one.
They still
was
have
mad.
Donny Van Den Beek, like 40 mil. 40 mil. Like, let's be honest.
Alex Tellez. Why all of a sudden? Why would you buy him and then play Luke Shaw every week? And then you slate Luke Shaw.
Well, Luke Shaw has been good, to be fair, but
he has.
It's only taken him 8 years.
He has been good.
He was 30 million as well.
You know what? I'm going to say one thing about Luke Shaw. Do you know what? He has been the best left back, right? And he has. And I was on our player and I said I give him class, and they were saying it gave me top class, which is fair enough, right? But they've both got. It's not about stats, and I'm not saying it. Luke Shaw's been better. Andy Robertson's he's having an average season, got the exact same stats as Luke Shaw this season. It's not about stats. I'm just saying If
Yeah.
you take that in context,
I don't think
as well.
Robertson's been that bad, to be fair.
Yes.
No,
No,
he
he's
hasn't.
been
Roberts
decent, but he's
actually.
not been the same
Yeah.
level. But that was
Yeah.
just
And
wanted
Roberts
to add
done
that.
it for like 2-3 years as well.
Conrad,
Yeah,
Luke
he
Shaw
has,
is
he has.
doing well for his ability. Obviously, Robertson's not doing well for his ability, and we know how good that
I
guy
know,
is.
but Luke Shaw is the typical. It was a typical sign him because he's young and English, and let's build him up so we can knock him down. And I've just seen it 100 times, and you can call it. It's fair play to him. He's took a lot of adversity to come back, so fair play to the guy. But as Bizzle said, he's had enough opportunity to do it. But he's probably been the best left back this year.
But Man United are playing well, so he's playing well. Like they're playing well as a unit, whereas we're not playing well as a unit, and yet Robertson is still busting out the same stats
Robertson's still got 5
Shaw.
assists and 1 goal.
It's-
That was interesting.
When they start losing again and they go on this streak and it's Ollie out gang, then let's see what.
Where
Interesting.
True. Very interesting stuff. I mean, next topic, we're going to be speaking about Coutinho and Suarez and the potential of them coming back. But guys, what I will ask you, if you want to keep your love interest coming back, make sure you head over to Manscaped and get 20% off. All you have to do is use the code TFT, 20% off. Keep your love interest interested. Don't bush up the place, guys. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
my days.
Getting better every week, these.
It's part of the job role. It's part of the job title. I've got to slip it in there somewhere.
Got to be honest.
That wasn't a pun, by the way.
I've been buzzing for this topic all day because I'm actually can't wait for this topic. I've been getting gifts ready. Oh, can't wait.
I actually think this is going to split opinion. So
let's have an argument.
I'm going to start
hear
with
you say.
Coutinho and Suarez have both been linked with move back to Liverpool. So Coutinho, apparently, Barcelona just want him off their books. They don't want him anymore. And with Suarez, he has an option if he chooses to leave for free this summer, I believe. Would you take either of them back? And what would be the reason to your answer?
I'd take both of them back 100%. The thing is, I think, all right, so firstly, with Coutinho, like, we've seen his quality and everything like that. And to be honest, I feel a lot of this season we've been missing a Coutinho in that centre midfield. Someone with a bit of, like, creativity, someone who plays those passes on the odd occasion, takes a couple shots from outside the box, good shots, though, and not just desperate shots and stuff like that. Someone who's like an actual ball player, and I think he's declined a bit in quality, but then he's been in a different situation, a team that seems like they're falling apart a little bit, to be honest, with Barcelona. And with Luis Suarez, that guy is just, I feel like people dislike him because of one game, or 2 games rather, the semi-finals, the home and away leg, But what we dislike about him in those 2 games is what we used to love about him when he played for us. And do you remember, like, for example, when he dived in front of David Moyes? We were loving it. We were loving it. But the thing is, suddenly you look from the other side and you're like, oh, this guy's this and this guy's that, and he's a prick and everything. And you're like, wait a second. We loved him because he was a pain in the arse on the pitch to other teams. Like, defenders would see him, Norwich, any player from Norwich would see him and they'll just start shaking in their boots. And right now we're missing a goal scorer and he just doesn't stop scoring goals right now. Like, why would you not take him back other than, all right, maybe the whole racism thing that happened, but I don't know if that's confirmed or denied or whatever it is. And I genuinely just don't think he's a racist person. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. But other than that, I just literally can't see a reason for not taking him back.
Interesting. Finn, I'm going to come to you next. And again, obviously, sorry to keep on harping on about your age, but it is a fascination to me because I know when I was around your age, my favourite 2 players were Gerrard and Torres.
Back in my day. Back in my day, we had Fabio Aurelio.
Don't get started in that. Oh, I was texting Cal the other night because people forgetting how good John Anarisa was at shooting.
Yeah,
I was losing my mind.
I grew up with some great players like who I just had emotional attachments with.
Wait, don't forget Shabby, bro. Shabby.
And Xabi Alonso, Gerrard, Torres, McManaman, Fowler, Owen. Like, I had genuine attachments to these players.
Wow, you are old.
For me, when Suarez and Coutinho left, I could kind of just see it happening. Like, I could just it wasn't a shock to me anymore. How was it for you, Finn, when they both left?
Yeah, Suarez for me one of the best players I've ever witnessed. I didn't obviously witness loads of him, but the bits I did is just phenomenal. His goals, he was a nuisance. He's like the one player that no one wants to face. Like he's always just a nightmare, and he's just one of them players that you just love to watch to play football. He scores goals. He's a nuisance. He's just everywhere on the pitch. But for me, Coutinho's the massive one. Obviously, he was like, when I started proper growing up and was proper into me footy, getting to know it about a lot, he was one of the best players I've seen in Liverpool shirt other than this starting 11 or this main 13, 14 players that play nowadays. He was just ridiculous. He scored so many goals, like free kicks against Newcastle, Stoke. He was just phenomenal, and he was literally a magician. He'd just do everything. And for me, when he left, it was so hard for me because he was the player that I loved, and in school, you'd have him on the back of your kit. He'd be like the one that everyone looked up to. So for me, when Coutinho left, it was very hard. But on the situation about having them back, I'd definitely have Coutinho back. I think he still got it. But with Suarez, I love the man to bits. I just feel like the Liga is his type of league. He's a bit old now, not as quick, not as, what's the word, energetic. I feel like for me, the La Liga suits him more. It's a lot slower. He can work off that, and especially now, I just feel like the Premier League's a bit too quick for him nowadays, which is a talent, his ability is world class. I'm not saying that it isn't, just the fact that I feel like the defenders now, you see how quick some of them are. I just feel like he just lose it a little bit. I think his talent is perfect, his class, and definitely could come back. But I just feel like for me, to be a bit too slow. I think he'd just hold up the play a little bit too much for Liverpool's liking, and especially that he has got the goal scoring part of his game, but I feel like he'd be too slow for Liverpool. We need someone who's a bit younger, who's got more potential, and going forward that we can have for another 4 or 5 years at least, and can do it at that level for a long time. But I'd have Coutinho back in an instant. I feel like just putting him in with Henderson, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, whoever it is behind him, I think he'd just shine with Salah, Mane, Firmino that we just seen for a couple of games before he left. But I'd definitely have Coutinho back, but I'm not too sure about Suarez. I feel like La Liga is his league to a team this day and age.
Fair enough. Conor, I'm going to leave you to last. So, Bizzo, I'm going to come to you next.
Same question.
Yeah, Coutinho, Suarez, you taking it back?
I am completely opposite to what Finn's decision is. I don't want Coutinho back. I don't think he's the right choice for us. I think there'd be better options of creating midfielders now. I think he left on a bit of a sour note, where Suarez, the argument with Suarez about him being a nuisance and no one liked him, I think he was asked by Gerrard to stay another season when he wanted to leave, and he stood by it, and then obviously we nearly won the league with him. And then we just got over the whole Branislav Ivanovic biting malarkey, and then he went to the World Cup and did it again. So it was kind of like, right, we've no more excuses for him now. Like we're gonna have to get rid of him, because like we stood by him through a lot of controversy throughout his Liverpool career, and I think obviously I don't follow the Liga very intricately, but he doesn't seem to be like that anymore. He's obviously matured a bit. He's older now. But you can't. I know the pace of the Premier League is different to La Liga, but I just think he doesn't need pace for his finishing ability, and he doesn't need it for his aerial threat, that kind of thing. He can probably still take a set piece as well, which is something that we miss every now and again. He's had a lot
around him, Bizzle. He's had a lot of pace around him. See, like Llorente and stuff like that. They've done that on purpose, because you can see the difference from last year with Barca, especially against Bayern Munich, how slow and off the pace. But if you watch, they get a lot of runners around them. So I just wanted to add that, mate, as well. So
no, yeah, and I think he's a player that would, obviously in his older age, he has adapted and he still scores goals. He's still the second highest goal scorer in the league, aside from Messi. And when he was with us, he all his goals came from open play. He very rarely took a penalty to increase his tallies. I don't know if he does it at Atletico Madrid or not, but I'd have him back in a heartbeat. The only thing is that the rumours that I've seen with Suarez is him coming back if Salah leaves. Now that changes the dynamic completely, because if Salah leaves, it's pointless bringing Suarez in as a replacement, because then you've completely off tilted the balance of the team, and you've no pace on the wings for him to work with and get into the positions in the box. If Salah stayed, then he'd be a great addition, because I mean, on paper, if you look at Jota, Mane, Suarez, Firmino, Salah, I mean that's just a mad attacking force. No matter how old Suarez is, you're still going to get a 35-year-old Suarez, I think, would still score 10 goals in the Premier League quite easily. Coutinho's an hard one because it's not like. I mean, this was his kind of like breakout season for Barcelona. This is where we could have really seen him shine when Koeman came in. It was a fresh start, and we've not really heard anything. The only thing we're hearing about him is like they don't want to play him for 9 games left of the season because they'll owe us 20 million quid now.
Yeah, he did pick up a bad injury. Did pick up a bad injury, which he's still recovering from. To be fair,
he had a semi-decent season with Bayern Munich, but then his Barcelona.
On paper, it looks amazing though. He left Liverpool. He's won the league. He won the league at Spain and Germany. And
Champions League.
Was he a
Champions League.
The league's not really hard though, are they, to do that?
In Barca and Madrid, or do you mean Germany?
I mean both of them.
No, because that's not true. Because Barca have won 10. Barca literally have won, I think, 10 titles in the last to overtake Madrid's tally. So I think Spain's quite an achievement. He actually was decent. I don't know why people hate on that season in Spain.
Yeah, I think especially in Bayern in the Champions League when he came to Spurs and beat them 7-2, came off the bench, scored 1 or 2, assisted 2 or something.
2 goals in a Champions League semi-final.
Yeah, no, I feel like, and he did very well at Bayern. I think he was nearly back to his best, back to his Liverpool best. Not there yet, but he was definitely did very well in that Bayern team. And I agree with you, Conway. He's not underrated, but it's going under the carpet a bit. That Barca season, he's still scoring goals, still got a couple of assists, and as you said, Callum Diaz came back from an injury, but I think Coutinho is still a different class and still can do it to this day.
Just not to the level because the money they got him for, they're expect when you spend that money, you're expecting like Neymar level, impact.
Isn't it like? Aren't they like putting him on the market for like 54 million though? Is it not something?
I heard 35 this morning.
I'm here 35.
35, but then
they like want him gone.
Well, does that? Because again, it has to be a smart business decision. Because I wouldn't fork out 35 million on Coutinho personally. Because whereas picking up Suarez on a free is a no-brainer for me. That's how I see it anyway. But I mean, if it was a case of Barcelona still have to pay us 20 million if he plays 9 more games now. If that was integrated into the deal and it was 15 million, then you've got my...
Yeah, I'm going to burst your bubble. Barca don't owe us any money.
Not yet, they don't, do they? Because he has to play. He has to play 9 more.
I don't think. No, but I don't think. I don't know about the rest of the games, but there was an instalment they had to pay us, and they basically offset that debt to a bank. So we've received that money.
Right.
I genuinely don't think they owe us anything else. Again, if I'm wrong,
someone have to come and take the seats from the stadium. It's getting to the point. They have to take the seats from the stadium, get the benefits in.
Baelish in the gift shop.
Genuinely, mate.
What's it called?
We're laughing, but they've still not been bailed out. They've not been bailed out yet, and everyone thinks they will. But honestly,
I think they'll get bailed out.
They will.
Fair play.
They will.
Listen, they make Spain alone, so the government's going to step.
Yeah. I know, no, but can I just add my take on it, guys? I think.
Let me get this first because
I'm sorry, forgot.
No, it's all good. I don't know. When they both left,
no fence sitting, Rams.
Yeah, just say how it is, Rams. Come on.
Right. Okay.
No fence.
When they both left, I've always come off this notion. I've been taught this. It's been a Liverpool thing. My family's told me. You're not irreplaceable. Like the whole Kevin Keegan is always the Kevin Keegan. They always go off. Got Kevin Keegan. You got Kenny Dalglish. Who was the better player? Obviously Kenny. So for me, I don't think we should go back and look at previous players. Honestly, I think we can get some new blood in. Like I think finding a Coutinho replacement, I think is quite easy because there's so many players like him. Like. You got Dani Olmo. You got that guy Mohamed Ihataren from PSV. You got so many players available for the kind of player.
But do you not think the price will be too much for him? I get the Dani Olmo, but see for like Coutinho, his level. But see like a Grealish or a Madison, I'm thinking FSG here. That's what I'm thinking about, and I feel like
Coutinho's a good deal compared to.
We have to stay away from British players though. British players come with like a 20 million plus price tag on top of their head just because they're British. It's mad.
But then again, the Dutch league has been kind to us. Like we had Gini Wijnaldum, who's done pretty decently. Obviously, Dirk Kuyt, he was great for us. So maybe popping into the Dutch league might not be. Obviously, Luis Suarez came from Ajax, so maybe going to the Dutch league might be a Microsoft.
People are looking at Marlon now, aren't they, Ram? They're looking at Marlon quite a lot.
He's good.
Maybe I don't know. Actually, never mind.
Who's the guy that Arsenal were linked with, the attacking midfielder all season from France? Who?
Oh,
Hassan
Mawar.
Yeah.
We've been linked with him as well.
Yeah. So there's so many options, and for me, the Luis Suarez thing, it's great to have someone that's experienced, that's been there, scored in Champions League finals, key player for Barcelona. But I think this squad is already aging, and we need some new blood.
I agree.
Blood as well. So,
do you not think though, if let's put it an example, if you ship Divock Origi out, you'd rather have Suarez on the bench than Divock Origi to come on in a game, wouldn't you? And Suarez at his age now, he's knowing that he's not going to be knocking on the door to be playing week in, week out. He'll be happy to do that role that we talk about so often.
If he's signed in that way, Bizzle, if he's signed
I don't know.
Signed as the number 9.
Because he could still start. No, I was just going to say, I think he'd rather probably stay at Atletico and play, because I know, I think for me, what I think he'd rather play week in, week out for Atletico than come and sit at the bench for us. I think he wants to play football. That's what he's like, and that's what he's been like for ages.
Yeah, but let's be real. He wouldn't be a bench warmer for Liverpool per se. He wouldn't play. He wouldn't sit on the bench for most games.
Second game, yeah.
You could. This is the kind of player in my head that we've all been screaming out for, because everyone says like, oh, we need a player to come in to replace Firmino. We need a player that's going to not be wanting to play week in, week out because we've got our front three. But like when Firmino was playing bad at this stage of the season, he would have been ideal to be coming on in his replacement or be taking his spot in the team. In my personal view. So looking ahead to next season, rectifying the mistakes from that, and twinning that we've been able to get him on a free transfer potentially. I just think like, yeah, why not just do it? Why not give him one last
thing? My thing about it is I don't want him to be my second choice striker. I want him to be at least at max the third choice striker, because
we've only got one striker right now though, guys.
Yeah.
So let's not be
he gets 9.
I don't want to be over reliant on him. I want him to be there to be an experienced head.
But Rams, let me ask you a question.
The finances.
Rams, if he comes into the team, and he's scoring goals pretty much every game, who cares if he's first choice striker? If he's winning us games, that's all we care about right now.
But he can't be the solution. Safe. He's not the number 9 solution in the long term. He'll just be
it's a long term for me. You get it.
Sorry, a long time ago, like we used to sign the likes of Karl-Heinz Riedler, Jari Litmanen as like.
Big up Jari Litmanen, bro. That was my guy.
He never got a shout out the other night, Cal. I was wondering.
I know.
But he was over the hill. He was around about 30 or 32. Yeah.
But we need a number 9 who's within age as well, though. This is what I'm saying. Like, if you get Suarez to appease the fans, because I'd say
like a year.
50% of fans have been saying we need a number 9 right now. I love Suarez, and I would take him back, right, as a player, not as a person, but as a player. He was unbelievable. But I don't know. I've got a feeling that I'm surprised there's so many rumors. Like there's so many. Like it actually seems quite legit that this could happen.
But we've done this before. Like we've had aging strikers and we haven't built upon it. Like we got like Ian Rush is a good example. We played him until he was about 33, 34, and he's still banging in goals. But we didn't have a replacement for the next 2 years until a certain Robbie Fowler came along. Yeah,
but do you not think the game's changed in terms of people are playing past what we'd consider past the peak. I just think
I agree, Bizzle, mate, but 34 is still quite old.
It is.
Also, look,
I've seen.
Caveat that we're old for football because I'm not that far off 34. Just saying.
But can I just say, look, if Suarez comes in, say he's only got a season in him, in that season, let's just say we kept the same front three, it adds a new dynamic to our play, because right now we can't rely on Origi to come on.
City get Haaland or Kane, and we're getting a 34-year-old Suarez. This is what I mean. This is the FSG. They want you getting in this way of thinking.
The thing is, you've got to think about this though. Look, in reality, we know FSG ain't gonna fork out a big load of cash, and if we're competing with Man City. Now with FFP changing and all that sort of stuff, if we're competing with Man City, how on earth are we going to get Mbappe or Haaland or whatever? Especially
No, but there's other strikers though, mate. There is other strikers.
That's why
Jimenez,
we have to look at
Jimenez.
rough diamonds. Like
Not Jimenez from Wolves. Are we talking Jimenez from Wolves still?
Anyway,
Where is this coming from?
You need to watch him. You need to watch Jimenez. Listen, playing for Wolves, the guy's amazing.
He's got a.
even then, you could have a look at someone like a Darwin Nunez from Benfica. Who's
he is pretty good as well.
And obviously Uruguayan connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think it's Firmino's last season to really like prove himself, because if he has something similar to this season, then the fans are going to be on him and say like, we need to chip this guy out.
Even to sell him to me, that's who's going to buy him.
And then I just think bring Suarez in. One last hurrah with them two. They're your two central strikers, and let's just have it.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere, Cal. I wouldn't worry about it, mate. Because I was speaking to my friend the other day. I was like, "Who's going to sign him? He's valued at 60 million. No one's going to spend that on Firmino."
No one's signing Bobby for 60. When it comes to Suarez and Coutinho, I'll be honest. In terms of the quality of the players, fantastic. And even though people will say Coutinho's fallen off a cliff, there's still so much talent left in him. It's unreal. Like all it needs is for someone to just activate that talent in him. If I had to pick one out of the two, I'd probably go Coutinho, but I wouldn't want either of them back now. Suarez did us dirty, man. Like, and excusing the racism stuff that he was accused of and all that stuff, the biting, he did that twice, and he did it before we signed him as well. So he's a serial biter. That's his thing. Like that's what he does when he gets angry.
He's not a nice person. I love people try to say he's a nice guy off the field. I don't think he's a nice person at all.
No,
he's done too many bad things to be that.
Exactly. And Klopp's very big on harmony and squad harmony. And does he affect that? And I don't want to take that risk.
I think 3-4 years ago he would. I think if we re-signed him a couple of seasons ago when he was like 31, 32, then yeah, because he'd be wanting to play every week and he'd be sulking if he wasn't, and it'd be. But I think he's at this stage now. I don't know. I think with the links that are coming in, he obviously, if there's that many, then there's obviously
there is a lot, isn't there?
Yeah, there's obviously interest from both parties. I don't think he solves our problems. I just think that in terms of someone that you bring in for one season, 2 seasons max, just to have his prowess in the box and to be a bit of an impact player as a footballer. Like, obviously, he wasn't a nice person. He's not a nice person. We all know that. We experienced it firsthand. He probably had his prime, like, idiot behaviour while he was with us. So, why not come back and just have one or two?
As a footballer, unreal. I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen a striker like him. And like you said, we've been watching Liverpool for a good number of years.
What about Kenny?
No, I mean like Suarez, a player like Suarez.
I've never seen told me when he was playing.
But Suarez, like the specific way Suarez plays, the way he thinks, I've never seen anyone do stuff like that.
No,
it's quite
different.
It doesn't mean better than other players. It just means it was different. Like he fought different. As Matt would say, it's just different. He just used to do things. When Alex Sissoko smashed across him and he heads it in like it knocks him out.
Crazy.
I'm like, he just used to do things that were out of this world. But
also, I know he's going to be like a short-term sort of solution, but isn't that kind of what modern-day football is coming to? Because we're not always looking 3-4 years down. We need a big bounce back after the season we've had just now. Yeah. And if Suarez comes in and brings that motivation with him, let's just say 3-4 games of goals coming in, it literally could change our future for the next 2 years. However, if for those first 4 or 5 games we don't bounce back, we're going to just start feeling in our thoughts again when we're talking about, oh, we're having another season like this. And I feel like even if it's just 1 year and he helps us bounce back, it's literally going to be worth the investment for me.
I could see it happening though, because there's a lot of rumours.
I just think it makes sense at this stage. I think any other time it probably wouldn't, but I just think now it makes more sense now than for any time, especially if he's available on a free. That's the key thing in this. Like bringing him back because he's available on a free is the thing that probably every party is like, hold on, there's an actual chance. I would not go into the market and try and buy him back. I'd tell you all now, I don't want him. But if the fact that he's available on a free is very appealing. Whereas paying money for Coutinho, to me, isn't something that I'd be interested in doing because I just don't see it a worthwhile investment. And I think he'd be a similar short-term risk, because we might not get the same form out of him. We won't be able to get rid of him once he's back, because you can't get rid of him now. No one wants to buy him now. So if we buy him and we invest in Coutinho and have him for 1-2 seasons, he's going to be 30 years old, and we're going to be trying to flog him out to somewhere that no one wants him. And if we can't get him, and if Barcelona can't sell him in his prime years now to any team, whether it's PSG, whether it's any team in the Premier League that want him, then we've got no hopes if we sign him and he doesn't show any form in the Prem. So, but Suarez is actually in form. He's the second highest La Liga scorer this season. Atletico Madrid are top of the Liga. That's no coincidence without his help.
Superb. It has been superb.
He's been very. But this is my thing. Yeah, I wouldn't be against getting back Luis Suarez, but we need to have someone in the back burner, like what United had when they had like the Ruud van Nistelrooy, they had Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo in their books. We need to have something like that.
Yeah. If we I take Suarez over nothing, Ram, because I think Origi has to go. We need some. I agree with Ram. We need a proper striker as well, like who's younger. But I'd still take him over nothing, mate. Because I think Bizzo makes a point: is if you got him there, not to be on the bench, but to compete, you could see guys Firmino and Mane dropping out the team.
If there's no hope getting like a Haaland or a Kane.
Let's start a Liverpool conspiracy off now that Kylian Mbappe's contract runs out, not this season, next season. So a 1-year contract for Luis Suarez.
Swap him with PSG.
Free
Who's
transfer.
going to play up front, no, because Mbappe's not playing up front because he's left mid. He said that. But
I'm just reaching.
Cal's got a solution. Cal changed my mind earlier today. I spoke to Cal and I was like, no, Coutinho. But then I'm with Finn. I love Coutinho, and I do think he's a baller. I think like he is superb. Only problem was he was not the best team player at Liverpool. There were so many attacks got wasted because he wouldn't play the right pass. It was always Bobby Firmino and Coutinho. It got very frustrating. People forget how frustrating that got. If he was better being a team player, which I think he'd have to be because they're the main men now and he's the newcomer instead of him being the main man before. So I wouldn't be against it. But going with the rumours and stuff, right? I spoke to Cal earlier and he mentioned a certain player
which I'm going to mention now. So you just played the through ball. I'm hoping to finish
it off.
Clean up.
Cal take the lead. Cal can take the lead.
Another
player. It's going to be a worldie or is it going to be a tapping?
It's not going to be a tapping. I'll tell you that.
Is a Nabil Fekir.
No.
Oh,
you guys are shutting it down.
I'm on Team Cal. I'm on Team Cal.
I'd say that was a penalty for me. Wait, can I just say something?
I love you said penalty there, Finny. All the things.
I just want to ask something. You know the other year, did he like actually start?
I'm devastated by the reaction. I'm not gonna lie.
Why?
Hold on.
This is left the room. He's left the room.
Wait, Cal. That's just.
Hold on.
That's
you wouldn't even entertain it.
Wait, I'm going to Manscaped.
We could do better though. That's as worst as. Actually, no, that's not as worse as what Drifty said. Never mind.
No, all right. Let me break it down for you guys. Yeah. So we didn't sign him back in 2018, and I've got a theory on this. It wasn't because of the knee thing, as rumors were put out. It wasn't. It's because his entourage came in and changed the demands of contracts, etc. And the club rightfully, in my opinion, walked away. But also, I think Klopp was given a choice. You either choose Alisson or you choose Fekir. He's looked at Karius, he's looked at Mignolet, and he said, there's no way I can't buy a new goalkeeper. There's just no way. He basically wants to buy a new sofa, but he's got a leak in his roof. You have to fix the roof, don't you? You just have to.
Yeah.
The sofa's got to wait. So I think that's what it was. Don't get me wrong. Since we didn't get him, he's not been pulling up trees. He's at Real Betis now. However, at a cut price deal, and I actually think he would suit our style of play better than Coutinho. He can shoot from outside the box. He can take a free kick. We saw his goal the other day, guys. We saw it where he picked up the ball and he dribbled like Maradona and scored a great goal. If the kid is on the clock, we've got a creative player and also a goal-scoring midfielder. Guys, please.
This is like a stream of Harry Redknapp's, this. Wheeling and dealing. Oh, No, but
Why did you
yeah,
play
he's
Fekir,
not had any
mate?
issues
Why
with
did
his
you play
knees. His
Fekir?
knees been all right for the last couple of seasons. He sees goalie now. Is Nico Cranshaw still playing? Let's see what he's saying.
Get
He'll suit
Jermaine,
us.
get Peter Crouch, get the band back together.
Cow.
It's the whole
I like the
Oh,
Fekir
no,
shout. I like it. I like
Yeah,
the
I
Fekir
don't mind.
shout.
Wait, Cal, how much is the price tag to him?
£4
For Fekir, I'm hearing it's around the 25 million.
Oh yeah,
euros.
I'd have that. I'd have
25
that.
million euros.
27
But
million.
if
That's
you
nothing that.
25 million euro, but if you
Yeah,
quote
I'm happy for
Manscaped
that.
in the basket, then you get 20% off.
Okay, wait, hang on. How about we get Fekir and Sabitzer? That'll be a good deal.
Sorry,
You just come in with some random Bundesliga player. Let's get it in the
Can
can I say? Sorry, we were talking about Coutinho. We were talking about Coutinho being too old. Yeah, he's 28 and Fekir's 27. And
Coutinho's
Fekir's
28.
I don't think
He's had a tough paper around Coutinho, hasn't he? Jesus.
I've got
He looked very young at ours, and now he just looks like he's been stressed for the past 3 years.
Man, I think that's what the Spanish sun does to you. But honestly, like he's 27 years old, and he scored 10 goals in. I can't find it now. I'll close the page. But he's scored like.
How
10
good
goals.
was he at Lyon though? He's the same player. He's not changed as a player.
Yeah.
That was
He's
2 years ago, guys.
from Leon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I stopped following him when he failed his medical, to be fair, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Right, Cow. I'll give you an option, yeah?
Go on.
Here we go. Who's the Bundesliga player he's going to fire out?
No, wait. Would
What
you rather
about-
have
Freddie, I
Danny
do.
Olmo? Which one would you rather have?
I'd have Fekir.
Danny Olmo or Nampel Fekir?
Fekir for me.
Almost intelligent and good, but he's like, we need someone with a bit of that impact and aggression.
Pizzazz, though. Olmo's got that pizzazz, you know what I mean?
No,
I
it's
could
cool.
not see him starting week in, week out for the
Yeah, I do like him though. I do think he's an
I'm
underrated
Fekir
player,
too.
Olmo. He is a smart player, but
Yeah, he's a great player, but he's not what Liverpool need. He wouldn't come in and start every week. He'd be sitting on the bench, and he's just like another Chamberlain who'd just play here and there.
I think he'll come good for a top team though. I do think so.
I would
Yeah,
take
I
that.
think if you spend 25 million, that's you'd pay that for anyone who's got a bill at hand.
Do you think, guys? I was saying to Cal earlier that I don't think there's an affordable number 10 out there apart from the few we've mentioned. But I really do not think, apart from Fekir or Coutinho, they're all about 60 to 80 million. I couldn't think of one that we know who would do a job. Like you could probably in the comments find one, but I just feel like we need a number 10. We have to be cost price. We're going to the clearance section right now in the savings section, try to get the best we can.
For the sale players,
you don't usually get two number 10s who either played or been linked. No, but do you know what I mean? As Safe said, 27, 28. Do you know what? Thinking about it, I'd take either one. However, I can't see us getting Coutinho and Suarez. It might happen, but I actually think the Fekir one would suit, but I don't know how likely that one is. But out of all of them, I think Suarez actually might happen due to the amount of rumours I've seen today. Like, I know people say there's no smoke without fire, but there has been too many to linking them to Liverpool that I feel like we have to buy cost price guys. We can't afford the top guys. We're not going to be able to do that. It's just not our model. So
exactly. I think Fekir is sound for 25 million. Whereas, and as you said, Conroy, if you want to find an attacking midfielder nowadays, you'll easily have to pay at least 60 million plus. I'll say, because you look at your Madison, Grealish, you look at our Arsenal link with him. His price.
If you're lucky, Finn, sometimes they put extra 10 mil as well.
Yeah, and even as you said, Bizzo, if you look at an English player, attacking midfielder, that puts an extra 20 million on it. There's so many. I feel like for me, Fekir, it might not be as good, but for the value, you're getting a better player overall for the value and his wage bill and going to sign someone for 75 million. You know what I mean? It's just like, I know it's a lot of money and they're probably better than Fekir, but if you look at the overall picture, Fekir is probably better because he's less money and still a good talent and good enough talent to play for Liverpool. Because as you said, we're never going to go and buy someone worth that amount of money. We never will.
Oars at 50 million, wasn't he? Arsenal looking at him. They were saying 50 million for Oar.
He'll go for a lot cheaper than that. I'm probably going to get ridiculed for this. I'm not a massive fan of Hossan Oar.
No, I think he's decent.
Much of him.
He looks decent.
I don't think I'd play him in midfield though. I think I'd play him as a centre mid.
More centre
I
mid,
think he'd be better. I don't think we really need him with the midfielders we've got.
No.
As a centre mid.
But even judging that, there was doubts from Arsenal as well.
I think if we went into this summer only needed a 10 as our main position, let's say we needed a 10 and a backup goalkeepers, that's all we needed. I'd want us to go big for someone like Grealish or Maddison.
Donnarumma free for keeper? Is he on a free, Donnarumma, or?
All right. So, Finn, you've now just teed me up with something now.
You need to finish
second penalty.
I'm definitely going to convert
penalty this. This is big, yeah.
Suarez would bury this.
doesn't take penalties, mate.
All right. So Donnarumma is available on a free, right?
Yeah, I'd have him.
And I've got a shout out to someone called Chris who I speak to on Twitter about this because I didn't even come up with this idea. He did when I was speaking to him. Now, he said we should go for Donnarumma. And straight away I said to him, nope, it's not going to happen. Let's be real. We've got Alisson. He said, why shouldn't we go and get him on a free and loan him out straight away, the same way Chelsea got Courtois and loaned him out for a couple of seasons? Do that, and then if Alisson starts to decline, or we want to bring back Donnarumma, we have two top quality goalkeepers that we don't have to pay big money for the second one. Have I got you? Are you guys on board?
Yeah, definitely.
I need a replacement keeper though. Who are we getting? Who are we getting to?
Anyone. We're getting anyone.
Idea. I've got two problems with that theory. One, he's going to be asking a lot of money. Like a lot of money. I'm talking 180k worth of money for backup.
Is that how much he wants?
Huh? Yeah.
Is that how much?
I swear he rejects 150,000 euro.
Okay, but we wouldn't be paying all that. We wouldn't be paying all that because if he's
wouldn't it, with the loan, yeah, you wouldn't have to pay the full.
Secondly, with the theory, he's with Mino Raiola.
Yeah, that's the one. Isn't it?
No, I hear that. And look, and don't get me wrong, I've heard loads of stuff about Mino Raiola, and I've read a lot of stuff. But if he's got top players at his disposal, sometimes you've got to do what you got to do. Like in business, you don't always work with people you personally like, but for the sake of business, you've got to do what you got to do.
I swear he says something about Jurgen Klopp, like disrespected him.
He says something about everybody, the guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
he just does anything to bag a few more million.
Yeah.
He's probably a multi-millionaire, to be fair.
Well,
Michael Edwards could smooth that over.
He was sweet talking.
I actually like that shout because see when Chelsea done it with Courtois, I thought that was brilliant business. Like with Czech and stuff, I thought that was genius. But I don't know if Liverpool have got the foresight and I'm not saying they've got intelligence, but yeah, they might see, as Bizzle said, they might see try and get a number 2 in.
Do you not think Alisson's got a good few years left though? We're not talking
28 Alisson. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree.
Yeah, keepers 34, 35. And then
maybe we're a few years off that, Cal. Maybe we're just a few years off.
But I hear you. But hear me out again, though, guys.
Donnarumma on his 30th birthday getting his debut for us. seven seasons out on loan.
But look at it. When Czech started coming towards, and I wouldn't say he had a massive decline at Chelsea, but you started to see he wasn't as good as he was in his previous years. That's when Chelsea brought in Courtois and said, right, now you two battle for the same position. And whoever comes out on top, comes out on top. Surely that gives us a bit of an insurance bonus doing that. And then also with Donnarumma, I know the fees are going to be like, let's say we have to pay him 10 mil signing on fee. With 2 or 3 loan deals, we make that £10 million back and then some through loan fees. And then the salary, let's say it's 180k. We could say to a club, look, if you're taking him on loan, you've got to spend this amount on his salary. And for example, he's going to play when he goes abroad. He's not like an Origi, for example, who might go out on loan and he might not play. Like Donnarumma, whoever he goes to is going to be a starter there pretty much if they want him on loan. Could this not be the way we start doing transfers now? Start looking at some of these players who are on a free, bringing them to the club. If they don't work, we can loan them out and then make some money off them and then do it that way.
The Chelsea scenario is the best scenario. The worst scenario is Henderson and De Gea, where you've got 2 keepers that are both very good. And now one's been knocking on the door and been given his chance, and now you're putting a world-class keeper on the bench every week, and that's going to cause unrest. Where are you going to lose one of them? Whether it's they take the hit on Henderson and sell him for 30, 40 million to keep the best paid goalkeeper in the world, or you do it the other way around and ship De Gea out.
I think it is,
and that's the kind of stuff you don't want. They're the kind of headaches you don't want, in my opinion.
Isn't it though? Isn't that a good headache to have, though, guys?
No, I don't think the De Gea Henderson situation is a good one.
Alisson's Sam for me. But Cal, I'll ask you a question though. Who would you loan him out to? Because Chelsea have got Mendy, they're Sam with him. United, De Gea, Henderson, they don't really need anyone. Chelsea, Ederson only 27, he's got ages left.
The Chelsea scenario will go the same way. That's going to go the same way with Mendy.
Apparently, Chelsea want Oblak. If they go and get Oblak,
Chelsea look for a keeper.
Madrid.
What a keeper! What a goalkeeper!
Yeah.
Why do they want him? They've got about 9 now.
They've got Abramovich who wants to win absolutely everything every year,
Oblak's
bro.
amazing.
He's not going to give up until he wins 7 trophies in 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I know it's crazy theory, but it's what I'd look at.
Well, when you're never going to get a chance to get a world-class keeper on a free, though, that's a good point. You're never going to get a chance to get a world-class keeper on a free.
It's back to the old argument of it being the best time now. You're not going to get the next contract Donnarumma signs. You will not be able to sign him again. That's it. He's gone forever. So in that aspect, you think, maybe that is a good business move, and he is only in early 20s, and keepers have got very long longevity within the career. So why not do it? It does make sense in that regard. And you never know what could happen down the line. You never know. Alisson might want to leave, or
right, injury prone as well, isn't he, Alisson? To be fair, that is also something to look out. He does seem to get a lot of injuries.
That's another thing.
Would Donnarumma would he come to Liverpool just to play a couple games a season? And that's what it kind of...
No.
If he knows he's getting loaned out, though, which...
He'd have to be on board. You have to be on board with the whole Courtois thing.
With someone like him, he's been playing, I think, most games at AC Milan, right? He doesn't want to be like a player that's loaned out, because you're not... He's like one of the most capped goalkeepers. And he's like 22.
I think he'll go to Juve, guys. Juve looks like that would happen, because Juve I know you can look at the stats and Szczesny's good, but he's not really like he's a very good goalkeeper, but there's a lot of moments of quality that Buffon has, and he just doesn't have that. And I think
Juve like a loan as well. Bring him in, send him out on a 2-year loan. That's what you say. You couldn't get him out, but I'm straight away thinking Madrid or PSG or Juve. They always love to switch their keepers every couple of years for some reason. Like Keylor Navas, great goalkeeper. Why did Madrid let him go? Who knows? But they just do. I don't. Who knows?
I think we get no better Neto, personally.
Yeah, for the sake. Is he in Germany at the moment?
If we get Donnarumma, right? It's some fury, Cal. I just feel like Liverpool are not got the foresight to think that far ahead. To be honest,
I agree. I agree with the idea, but Liverpool is not like that.
I think we're going to have a lot of money to spend this summer. I think he's going to ship a lot of players out. I
hope he does.
Players like Harry Wilson are definitely. We're not loading him out again. He's going. He's on the way out.
See, when you watch Harry Wilson on YouTube, right? Genuinely, right? It's like Oliver Giroud-esque.
Do you see his goal last night?
Yeah, I said that was
Guy didn't get a chance. Guy's not had a chance, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Harvey Elliott as well. You could sell him for a few bob. He's doing well.
I don't want Harvey going anywhere.
No, I want him to stay. I think Shaqiri's on the way out. Shaqiri's on the way out. Origi's on the way out.
Do not say someone I want you to say. If you say him, oh my god.
Who?
Please. Navi, I want him staying.
I think he'll stay.
Unless he picks up one more injury, then it's
we've invested a lot in him.
Time to go. We need to get some value on him.
Indeed. But guys, we're going to wrap up there. Now it's time for you guys to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Would you take back Coutinho? Would you take back Suarez? Am I crazy for even mentioning Fakir's name? Maybe.
Dani
Olmo. Would you take Dani Olmo?
Like, see if Suarez actually happens. What do you think the reaction will be like? That'll actually be crazy. It'll be very mixed
until he starts scoring goals, and then everyone will be on board.
Yeah.
He scored against United at Old Trafford, and everyone will be like, what a man.
But guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Manscaped, where you get 20% off to keep yourself groomed. Until next week, guys, thank you very much for watching. Just going to go around the circle. Guys, where can everyone find you? Bizzo, we'll start with you.
At BizzoBond on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you.
Super. Ram?
Follow my Twitter, LRB Rams, and my YouTube, LRB Rams without the underscore.
Perfect. Safe?
Yeah, just that at the official safe on Instagram, or just search that in on YouTube and I'll pop up.
Perfect. Finn?
Yeah, the same. Well, for TV on Instagram and YouTube.
Super. And then Conroy, yourself?
So it's @_Conroy H on Twitter.
Super. And guys, you can find me here or you can find me on Team Coppish on YouTube. But yes, until next time, guys, it's always a pleasure catching up with you guys. Have a good one. Stay safe, stay blessed. See you later, people.